Okay, here we go. I sure hope we solve this mystery. This is bad, though. If the red isn't working, can't keep going. What about that big hallway? Maybe there's somewhere in there we might be able to go. No, there's nothing there. The five of us had a quick look. There are a great many rooms, although none of them appear to have held patients for quite some time. Patients? You mean all those doors are for hospital rooms? Yep. Apparently, they have a number of individual rooms in addition to this large central room. There was a door down at the end of the hallway too, but it was locked. It had one of those solar system mark things on it. It was the Jupiter symbol. Jupiter. Wonder what it means. Confusion seemed to be the consensus. That reminds me, what's the deal with this big room anyway? What is this thing? Was it some kind of huge passenger ship? No one, not even Snake, appeared ready to offer an answer until Seven unexpectedly spoke up. I bet it's a hospital ship. In fact, it's probably the Gigantic. The Gigantic? Junpei looked at Seven, shocked both by his knowledge and the apparent identity of their prison. He was not the only one. What's the Gigantic? Seven nodded to Lotus and began to speak. The Gigantic. It's like the Titanic, except for dumber. He explained that the ship had... Oh my gosh. She had been a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century. The Titanic had two sister ships who were identical to one another in nearly every aspect. The Gigantic was said to be one of them. She was initially intended to be a passenger liner like the Titanic, but soon after the ship was launched, the First World War began, and she was pressed into duty by the British Navy as a hospital ship. Sometime later, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She managed to run aground after the incident and consequently was not sunk. What then happened to the Gigantic after her fateful encounter in the Aegean Sea? One theory ran that a man named Lord Gourdain purchased her. This is getting better and better. Lord Gourdain, it seemed, had been one of the few survivors of the Titanic tragedy, and that trauma had turned him into an obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. As his obsession deepened, he began to desire the Titanic itself. That, of course, was impossible. The Titanic lay at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The Gigantic, however, had not suffered such a dire fate, and as she was identical to her sister ship, she caught Lordain's eye. That's it, I'm calling him Lordain. So you're saying this Lordain bought this ship? Yeah, at least I think I am. That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old. Pipe down. Just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof? Proof? Proof that this ship is really the Gigantic. Well, the ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. So I just figured. Oh, for goodness. Don't tell me that's your only reason. No, I've got more. Like? Well, I mean... Seven looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. That is hardly piercing. He scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Yeah. Finally, he opened his mouth. I don't know. Lotus sighed and shook her head. I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it? No, sorry. Wait a minute. Did he reveal his amnesia to her? Then, almost as if to save Seven from further embarrassment. A bell began to ring from far away. It sounded as though it was the clock at the main stairway. Junpei counted each chime carefully. Oh, poops. It's midnight. And we still got 6 hours left, right? Let's get moving. We gotta find that hardware the Reds are missing. That's all well and good, but where are we going to look? Well, we've already searched the big patient room. They had been examining the room as they talked. Oh, that's good. Thanks for that. But we haven't found anything. Right. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Just one? Well, not just one. What? Wait a minute. Are you telling me you have to search all these rooms? Well, you already checked some of them out before you came here, right? We each checked a single room, so 5 rooms in total. Alright then, that's 5 rooms we don't have to search. If we split up, it won't be that bad. If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, then we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time. There are 48 other rooms? Lotus did not seem excited by the prospect. 7 fidgeted nervously before responding. Maybe? That's weird. After some discussion, the 8 of them decided which rooms to begin with, and in what order they would go. Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from fore to aft. They also determined when they would return to report their findings, and the next time the clock sounded the time. When it did, they would meet back in the large central room full of beds. If, during their search, any one of them were to locate the missing components, they were to yell for the others. If this strategy failed, they returned to discuss their options later. The details decided, they left to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However... mystery. From far away, Junpei heard the bell ring. It did so only once. It was 1 a.m. Holy craps. He jogged to the entrance to the large hospital room to find 6 of the others already there. A, Santa, Clover, June, 7, and Lotus. So that means we're missing... Snake and... who else? Whatever. They had gathered in front of the door number 8. Perhaps, to be accurate, they had gathered in front of the red next to door number 8. Had one of them found the missing piece? What happened, guys? It was June who answered him. Jumpy, look. She was pointing at the red. He pushed through the others until he stood in front of it. Immediately, he knew what she had meant. The display in front of the red read vacant. Junpei sighed. Come on, guys, who was it? Thought we were supposed to yell if we found it. Well, Junpei wondered why she was hesitating. The others looked as confused as June, but kept their mouths shut. What the hell? What is up with you guys? They all knew something he didn't, and Junpei wasn't about to leave things that way. Finally, Lotus frowned and spoke. Well, that's the thing. We don't know. You don't know? When I got back, it was already like this. There was no one else here. That meant I was the first one back, but the missing parts were already back in the red. Junpei looked at the bottom of the red again, just to make sure. The slot that had been opened on the bottom was now covered with metal. Clearly, whatever had been missing had been returned. What about the other 2? They're the same. Junpei quickly examined the other 2 boxes. Satisfied that they were also repaired, but still very confused, he returned to the others. Alright, I just want to be sure here. Nobody has any idea what the hell happened here, right? Ace and June nodded silently. 7 raised his hands as if to say, not me, and Santa just shrugged. Only Clover lowered her head and did nothing. Huh? Wait a minute. That's when he noticed. Where's Snake? Junpei swept his eyes across the room a second time, but Snake was nowhere to be seen. Does that mean that he found them? I've no idea. There's nothing to suggest it, but nothing to suggest he didn't either. I don't suppose we'll know until we can ask him in person. Well, whatever he did or didn't do, he's pretty damn late. What the hell is he up to? Maybe he's lost. Yeah, well, that seems likely. Dude can't see. I don't know how he gets around in the first place. Clover raised her head. Whoa! No, that's impossible! Suddenly, she was shouting. Yeah, my brother's blind, but he's got really great hearing. He can get around as well as anyone who can see. So he couldn't get lost. That's impossible. Clover had started to shake, and the knuckles of her hands had gone white. She spun around, but before she did, Junpei noticed tears welling up in her eyes. I'm gonna go look for him. The words were barely out of her mouth when she began to run. Hey! Hold on, Clover! Wait! Junpei cried out to her, but he was too slow. Sound is faster than a human could run. She kept going, and before anyone else could react, she was gone. Damn it! What should we do now? Well, the red is working now. No, we're not leaving 2 people behind. We should go back for them. Oh man, this ain't good. Oh yes, what an excellent idea. We just wasted a bunch of time looking for some piece of electronic junk. Now let's waste some more by looking for a couple of idiots. Then remain here if you feel you must, but there's no time. You have only 5 hours left. Junpei and the others nodded to one another and took off at a run. Alright. In front of the stairs that led to B deck, they decided to split up. They quickly assigned search areas and went their separate ways. Soon, only 2 of them were left. Those 2 were Junpei and June, who had been a few steps behind the others. Alright, we should go too. Yes, let's go. But where should we start? Let's see. Top to bottom. How about the casino on B deck? Okay, sounds good. They took off up the stairs at a run. Before they knew it, they were there. So was Lotus. She was leaning against the wall, examining her nails. Hey, what do you think you're doing? She glanced up at him, unimpressed. Isn't it obvious? I'm looking for Snake. I'm just not seeing it. Really? Maybe you need to look harder. Junpei didn't think that was the problem. Oh, by the way, I've got a proposal for you too. Care to hear it? You got it. What is it? Well, I don't like to beat around the bush, so I'll get right to it. Why don't we team up? Team up? Yeah. What, you need me to explain it to you? I'm saying, why don't we go through a numbered door? Even if we wanted to, that's impossible. Why? Jumpy's bracelet number is 5 minus 6, and yours is 8. My digital route would be 1. Yep. But there's no number 1 door in the large hospital room. The only doors there are 3, 7, and 8. Then we add another person. Huh? Who? What, isn't that easy? 7. She was right. If they added 7, they could also add, yeah, who the fuck ever. Then the 4 of them could go through the number 8 door. But, whoa, hold on a sec. What about the other 4? Why don't you add them up? That was simple enough. The digital route for these 4 would be 1. That's right. And you know the number 1 door isn't in the big hospital room, right? Of course I know that. No, are you saying that you'd leave them behind? Of course not. What kind of woman do you think I am? Once we get off the ship, we could come back and rescue them, couldn't we? Then we wouldn't really be leaving them behind. Don't try to lie to us. I don't think you do anything of the sort. Really? Why do you think that? You remember, don't you? We have less than 5 hours left. Even if we manage to escape, there's no way we can come back to rescue them in less than 5 hours. Well, you never know unless you try. No. You're not thinking this through. Even if we brought 7 with us, we wouldn't be able to get off the ship. The 4 of us couldn't open door 9. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. Yeah, that's right. The digital route for us 4 would be 8, so we'd have to add Ace to make 9. Right. Unless we bring Ace too, we'll be stuck. Lotus scratched the back of her ear. Oh, Well, that's unfortunate. She didn't sound particularly bothered by what Junpei said, nor did she seem particularly surprised. Well, let's try to find another way, okay? A way to get out of here with all 8 of us. That's impossible. Are you being serious? You do know that only 5 people, at most, can go through one of the numbered doors, right? The number 9 isn't going to be an exception to that rule. Regardless, at least 3 people will get left behind. You're right, that is true. I don't know. Can't they all go through it? They don't work only once, right? The moment he said it, Junpei felt a chill run down his spine. It was true. How Lotus could remain cavalier about so terrifying a prospect was behind him. No, it was beyond him, damn it. When they found the number 9, they would have to choose which 3 of them would die. Lotus' forehead furrowed. Do you think I could have a moment alone? There are some things I need to think about. Whatever, girl. Junpei and June turned and began walking away from Lotus. Talking to her had left him feeling ill. Junpei's heart felt heavy and his steps sluggish. But he told himself pessimism would get them nowhere. So he forced himself to smile and turned to June. Let's just focus on finding Snake for now, okay? Yes, you're right. We can think about those other things later. Later. Junpei nodded. Alright, where should we go next? Let's take a look at the first class cabin. It's really close. Turned around and took off down the hallway to the left. And yeah, this is going to take a while, so I'm going to stop here. And I will pick it up tomorrow. Paula.